Howdy, folks. What's going on? It's the Outlaw Hatfield here once again, coming at you live. Well, Matt's show was kind of interesting tonight. We did a top 10 video game consoles. I thought it was pretty good. Who we got out in the chat so far? We have Espada. How you doing, Espada? And Mr. Gixer. How you doing, partner? Um, Ladies and gentlemen, I have sent Gary a link. He hasn't showed up yet, but hopefully he will get here soon. He is my guest for the night, so we're going to see how this goes. Lord, you guys just jumping over from NEA's chat? There's only two of you guys over here. Let's see what's going on over at the gun channel side, if anything. I don't even see Gary. I'm not even sure he's online at the moment. He might have forgot about me, which, that's okay. I'm quite forgettable. It's happened more than once. But yeah, tonight was supposed to be our interview, so we're gonna see if he shows up or not. And if not, we will reschedule. It's not a great big deal. Matt, have you guys noticed that Never Enough Ammo show keeps going longer and longer and longer every week? We go down a lot of rabbit holes on there. So you take care, Gixer. Who else is out there with you, Espada? There's somebody else watching. I'm not sure who it is, but somebody else is definitely out there. And well, they don't talk. I can't see them, so it's that simple. So how are you tonight, Espada? Anything new in your life? Still stuck in California? California? The bad place? Let's see, over on the gun channel side, I see Fine Ape is out there and the Pants. I don't know if Pants is actually watching or not. He's on his cell phone. That don't mean a whole lot. A lot of times you see those icons over on the gun channel side. That don't mean there's actually somebody there. So, uh, so probably going to be very busy in here up until Matt's chat lets out anyway. You bought a gun safe. Okay, what the heck sense is it to have a gun safe? You're not allowed to have any real guns in California, dude. I guess you could use it as a catch-all, maybe hide a baseball bat in it, pretend it's a gun. Somebody breaks in, pick up the bat, point it at it, and go bang, bang, bang. Well, now we have four folks watching over here. Who, guys, if you're out there, say hello. I honestly can't see you. Hey, Fine Ape, how you doing, buddy? Dead Horse, Long Linky Dinky. Well, Dead Horse, the problem with linking you is I was supposed to be doing a one-on-one interview with Gary. And so far, Gary has been a no-show. Now, I'm not sure if that's that he forgot or he got busy or passed out or what have you. But I've sent him a link out there. Hopefully he sees it and shows up. He has a tendency to pass out and wake up later. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Probably have to reschedule. That's fine. I can. It's not like I cannot do an interview with Gary tomorrow. I will just say that. I do have a show at 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so and it will be on time. See, this show's actually supposed to start at 11. Hey, Inside, how are you, buddy? Michael G, what's going on? But Matt's show tends to run long and is getting longer by the week. He's starting to rival me in midnight range. Yeah, apparently. He might show up a little later. I'm thinking he might have just laid down, took a nap, and overslept. The man works his booty off, so. And yes, I said booty in lieu of the word ass. You know. You know what? I am going to send Dead Horse a link if he wants to jump in here for a minute. If Gary shows up, we'll continue the interview as promised. I'm sure you guys do not want to sit there and just listen to me yap. Hey, Slim, how are you, buddy? We've got the world famous Slim Cowboy. The only cowboy in history to carry a Glock. Go figure. It just don't make sense. Actually, I don't know what he carries. As you all know, I'm not the biggest fan of Glocks, so I like to pick on you folks that love them. It makes me happy. You know, all you guys that likes to swim in mediocrity, which is the world of the Glock. It's mediocre at best. I'm not saying it don't work. It's just a Glock. Let's see. Dead Horse, I sent you a link. Hey, Sean Green is on both sides. Fine Ape, how are you, buddy? We uh we got a pretty good turnout so far, guys. So, what is a Glock? It is plastic, ugly, gunnish thing. That's what a Glock is. It's a gunnish thing. Not that I have a problem with plastic guns. I own a few plastic guns. They're just not Glocks. But the one I have with me at the moment is neither plastic nor is it um, ugly. It's actually very nice, and I have ever since I've bought this thing, I have started to fall more and more in love with it. I've got to be careful because, well, ladies and gentlemen, it is loaded. But yeah, I am really digging this 4-inch Ruger. In case anybody's wondering, I don't know if you can see that, but that does say, there you go, that is a 7-shot. So if you ever decide you want a decent 357 Magnum that's not going to break the bank too much, pick one of these up. GP 100. Great gun. Great gun. So who else is out there? I'm picking up viewers slowly as we go. No, 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 no. See, I'm not going to be doing a desktop. Uh, there's just too many things that could go wrong in this place. So yeah, that would be bad. That would be very bad. Hey, OBN, what's going on, buddy?
Yo, 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 what up?
What's going on, Dead Horse? How's
I
life?
didn't expect a show, another show so soon from you. What are you doing, man? Just bored or what? What's going on?
No. This is my regular scheduled
Oh,
show.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is
That's
this
right.
is the Monday night shootout. The problem is it was supposed to be a one-on-one interview with Gary, and well, Gary so far is a no-show. But
Well, guess what? I have someone that you can interview.
oh, who you?
No. He's coming
Oh,
on right now. He's going to be here in just 1 second. So
and who might that be?
it's a surprise guest. I can't
That's
tell you.
a surprise. You're going to surprise me on my own show.
Yeah, we're having a surprise guest experience tonight.
Oh, well, okay. Well, come on in, surprise guest. I will be happy to have you. Hey, Grim, how are you, buddy? Matt show still going on, Grim? Something is really going on with my YouTube because I'm talking to like 5 or 6 people over there, and it only says I got one person watching, which is just weird. Oh, and I am simulcasting over on the gun channel side for anybody that's wondering. So we are up and running here. So, do I get a hint about who this surprise guest is?
Um. Uh. Yeah, he's probably the guy that I've met on gun channels that builds the most guns. Like way more than me. Like he puts me to shame. Like I'm nothing. Like this guy
Oh,
is like yeah. So there's your hint.
there's somebody on there that builds more guns than you.
Oh, like way more, dude. Like way more. Like
Well,
I've built like almost 70 ARs. Like this guy's built like 400 or 500, like kind of thing.
well, if you have any spare parts laying around, you can send them my way. All right, there's Gizzard. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
You're late.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like the show is back on schedule. We are about to do our one-on-one interview with Gary the Glock.
The what?
Or Gary the Glock. Gizzard Gary. See, thinking about Yankee Marshall and you and Gary, and see, it just all fucked up, man. Damn.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Gary. You can just kick me in the ass for that later. You
Oh,
have
I
my
will.
permission. Oh, it's okay. I feel like an idiot. Gizzard Gary, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Gizzard Gary.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, David Wright has joined. Hey, David, how are you? Well,
Hey,
gentlemen,
buddy, what's going on?
not a whole lot. I hate to do this, but the intentions of this show is a
Was a
one-on-one
one-on-one,
interview.
yeah, and he showed up.
Yeah,
So, well,
yeah.
when you were out there like alone, I was like, oh, let's go help, let's go jump in. But
Well, I appreciate it.
Gary's here, you got it
Yep.
covered, buddy.
Hey, Dead Horse, I appreciate you, buddy. David, I appreciate you for dropping by. I'm probably going to shut this down later on tonight after the interview here and reopen another one just for a general chat. If y'all want to jump back in, we'll probably
Yeah,
go to 5
definitely,
o'clock.
man.
We'll probably go to 5 o'clock in the morning. So because
Yeah,
we always
definitely,
do.
definitely. After your show, I'll post another link and then we'll hop in.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do.
All right, Outlaw, you have a good one, brother.
You too, David. Have a good one, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And it's just now me and Gary. Gary, keep your clothes on, please.
Now you make me feel bad for running everybody off.
Don't feel bad. And I told them, before they showed up that when you got here, it was your show. So it is indeed your show, sir.
Alrighty.
So what's new with you? Anything new this week other than the Tulsa thing?
Oh man, that's just about as exciting as it gets going to Tulsa and getting to meet your kinfolk and everything there. So
Yeah, he was definitely. How does it feel to be a part of a pizza theft ring?
that was one of the funniest things, and I had just laid down in my room and turned the lights out, and I heard him pounding on that door. And so I got up and looked out my peephole to see what was going on. It's like, I got to hurry up and get dressed because I don't want to miss out on this.
Did you know Night Strike was across the hall?
Yeah.
No, so you actually knew who was in the room.
He told me that when he first met me, and I told him something about, he said, "Are you already checked in?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "What room were you in?" I said, 201. He said, "Hey, I'm in 202. It's like, oh, shoot. I'm your neighbor.
Yeah. Huh? Did you make any purchases, Gary?
No purchases of, well, that's not exactly true. Mostly it was ammo. I bought 3 boxes of ammo from some local Kansas companies I happened to interview while I was out there. One of them being Fort Scott Munitions, of course. Let's see, what else did I pick up? A bunch of patches. I also got your cousin a patch, too.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Well, I went by this place that had a whole ton of patches, and I was looking, and they had just about everything you could think of, and I saw that shall not be infringed, and I said, oh, shit, I got to get that for Night Strike. I just got to. Where else are you going to get a patch that says that? So I got him one. I got a couple of them from Matt, and got myself one. Let's put it this way. I took $200 cash on me when I left. I think I came back with maybe 20 or 30 of it.
Well, that ain't bad. Yeah, at least you had something left.
That's why I told my daughter, I said, I went there to have fun, and have fun I did. If there was something I wanted to buy or food I wanted or whatever, I did it.
Did you happen to get any of that jerky that they were showing off?
No, I didn't get any of the jerky. Did not get the jerky. I did. Let me see if I can find it real quick, though, Ellis. I did get something that was kind of right up your alley here.
Uh-oh. Well, there's a lot of things up my alley. So,
well, now we won't go there necessarily, but
let's see, get your mind out of the gutter. This is a PG show.
Yeah, I know.
At least for the second.
It is until I get it fixed. Let's put it that way.
It's PG until I get RL and Alan B Pro and Gunpowder Beauty in here later on tonight. And
there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it will no longer be PG.
You would appreciate this more than probably anybody, but I did manage, and I'm about to turn my camera on here. I did manage to pick me up a gun.
Wow. It sounds mechanical. Let's see, what you got there? Oh, wow. Yeah, that is cool, dude.
And not only did I pick up the gun, but I picked up the ammo to go with it, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't. A gun don't do you any good unless you got something to shoot, so.
Well, now, I almost gave this thing to Night Strike because he was talking about how he didn't get his concealed carry permit, so he couldn't take a gun out there, or he couldn't carry a gun while he was out there because
It takes in South Carolina about 6 weeks to get it in the mail. So.
Well, they told me that too, but it actually took more like 3 to get it. But anyway, I told him, I said, hey, Night Strike, I said, I got a gun you can carry while you're out here in Oklahoma. And I think the response was less than favorable. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, a lot of his responses are less than favorable. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I noticed that. And the first words out of his mouth when I met him, if you could imagine, were, of course, shall not be infringed.
Yeah, I think he says that as his catchphrase, and he expects people not to know who he is, but we all recognize Night Strike.
And then he looked at me and he kind of put his hand to the top of his head and to the top of mine, like he was insinuating that he was taller than me, although really we're about the same height. But
well, you know, I don't know what it is with Night Strike. You know,
But no, we had fun. I even got to give him a ride back from J.M. Davis when he was done, and he got to make fun of my car while he was in there because it's too small, evidently. And
um, he is not one to be making fun of anybody's car. I'll just say that and leave it right there. But trust me on this, ladies and gentlemen, he's not one that should be making fun of people's automobiles. There's a reason behind that, and if he ever listens to this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about, and we're just going to leave it alone.
but we had fun. Let's see. I got to ride in a vehicle driven by Never Enough Ammo to go to Chick-fil-A one day. Night Strike was there too. And then we also rode at J.M. Davis. We rode with Ghost to go get Carl's Jr. And there was hijinks. Everybody was going live back and forth, and it was just quite the weekend. Not to mention the fact that J.M. Davis is absolutely wonderful. You would love it. You would love it, Ellis, and you would also love Wanamaker. If you ever get the chance, go. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we were talking about it a couple of nights back, and I'm going to try to save up enough money over the summer to actually get there in November. Now that I've got a more steady paycheck coming in and I'm making some fairly decent money, I can afford to put some back. Now in J.M. Davis, what was the one thing that caught your eye? What was the one thing that really jumped out at you?
It's gonna really seem weird, but the one thing that jumped out at me was the fact that they actually have a shotgun that I have in my safe. They have two of them there, and I saw that just about the first thing I got there, and it's like, I got that shotgun.
I guess it's kind of weird walking into a museum or something like that and seeing something that you have at your house in the museum.
Well, you think of a museum, you think, well, they're all famous firearms and stuff like that, but not necessarily. It's just about like one of everything you could ever imagine ever having been made. They probably got one. And it's just weird because every Winchester you could ever think of, every Remington you could ever think of, Mauser, you name it, gun, shotgun, rifle, pistol, they've got it. It's just so huge you can't possibly see it all in one day, but everything you look at, it's just, oh wow, look at that.
So what you're saying basically is, in case of zombie outbreak, go to J.M. Davis and collect.
Well, yeah, the thing is, it's kind of hard to get in that place. It's pretty well built, and I don't think they keep a whole lot of spare ammo around for you to load the guns with. But
well, ammo might be an issue, but we would think of something. I'm pretty sure we could come up with something.
But yeah, it's pretty incredible. Tulsa's a fun place. You'd love it.
Oh, well, I've actually been in Tulsa, so
I've driven through it many, many times and, stopped and ate at various places, but I've never seen any of these. I've had friends that went to Wanamaker before, and they told me, hey, you ought to go to that gun show they have down in Tulsa. I never have made it, but I got the chance to do that with a bunch of people that, I've met online. That was the best part, is all the people like Ghost and Clover and Night Strike and Tardot, and I'm not going to name them all because I'll forget somebody and I'll get in trouble. But, just all the people that you chat with all the time, it's like they're right there in front of you. That's quite a feeling.
Okay, now, Gary, I don't. I sometimes I come up with questions that, and I'm about to put you back against the wall.
Okay.
I'm about to put you back against the wall. Which one of the guys was you most excited to see and talk to? Which one was you most excited to hang out with?
Which one was I most excited to hang out with? Probably G-Webs, because nobody's ever seen G-Webs.
Oh, well, apparently there's people that seen him now.
I have seen him now, and he was not. You know how it is. Somebody you've never seen their face, you kind of have a mental picture of what they look like. And I was way off on G-Webs. But everybody was unique in their own way. I mean, Clover has taught me an awful lot about how to run a channel. So has Ghost. And, I've even learned a few things from Night Strike, believe it or not. And
Night Strike knows what he's doing. I mean,
then there's all the gals. There's several of the gals there too. And there were a few surprises, people I didn't know were going to be there, like Tony York was there and stuff like that. And Travis P11, just all the names you could think of practically right in front of you. And they're just normal people, friendly as can be. We ate food together, we laughed together, and just one of those times, I'll jump to do it again in a New York minute.
So you're planning on going back in November?
Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully I will see you there.
Well, I hope so, man.
Well, that's the plan. And there's a if I ain't mistaken, there's a few others that's planning on making that trip as well. RL said something about getting out there. I tell you, I'd like to see Alan make it out there. Alan
B. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun too.
Yeah. Just I can't wait to meet Ghost and Clover, and especially G-Webs. I'm like you. Don't get me wrong, all the guys on gun channels is great, but when you have the chance to meet the Godfather, you got to take it.
Absolutely. And then to watch all those people in action, because you got to see Clover with his filming rig and stuff like that, Ghost with all his stuff, and we all had our different tripods and things we were hauling around with us. And I even loaned a tripod to Night Strike and part of one to Jelsma, because he had something on his that he left behind or something. I was able to help him out, and we just pretty much helped each other, shared equipment, and it's just like that.
Well, it's like I always said, people on gun channels are more than just friends. We're family. And I mean, and what do you do with family? You support them, you help them out. You can do what you can for somebody. And I made a joke the other day, and about I think it was Saturday when Sean showed up. Matt had went live and Sean was there, and I told Matt to tell Sean to buy himself a Hatfield shotgun just to keep him, straight, keep him level. Something had to be there to hold him down, hold him back a little bit. And I figure a Hatfield shotgun did the trick. Now then, I've got a plan. I'm actually going to buy Sean a Hatfield shotgun and ship it to him.
There you go.
I've decided I'm going to do that. I think it'd be I like Sean. He's a great guy. He really is, and I love giving him hell, and he gives it right back. Don't think it's just a one-way street. And for those of you guys, and Gary, you know this, we all banter back and forth. Every one of us do. We pick on each other unrelentlessly, especially what you guys don't see on air. The after chats, it's a free for all, and I love it. I truly love it. There is a camaraderie, and all the guys from gun channels has. It's unique, and we might not agree on everything, Gary, but 90% we do. 90% of the time we all agree on pretty much everything. We have our little, different opinions about this or that or the other, but we come together on the shit that really matters.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad you had fun. Now let's talk about the gun show itself. We talked about if you seen anything at J.M. Davis that jumped out at you. What about the gun show? Was there anything that you wish you'd had the money to actually say, okay, I got the money. This is coming on with me.
Well, I wasn't looking for any to buy any firearms per se. I mean, if I found a great deal, I would have, but I knew I was there, quote unquote, on a working assignment because, you're trying to record content to take home and eventually make videos out of. So you're looking for people you can interview. And believe it or not everybody there wants to be interviewed. So you got turned down quite a bit along the way. But as far as guns go, they had guns all the way up to, I saw some going for like $25,000. And some of the most pretty things you've ever seen. I don't want to spoil any of my videos, but I've got one of the most beautiful pistols you ever seen in your life coming up. And I wished I had that kind of money to buy something like that to actually own it, but I'd be afraid to shoot it or anything like that because it's just too pretty. You know what I mean? I hate to own a gun that I couldn't take to the range and shoot.
Yeah, I'm not one for buying safe queens. If I own it, I want to be able to take it out and pop a few rounds off with it whenever I decide to.
I'd be afraid to get it dirty even. But
no, if I buy a gun, I don't care how old it is or what it is. I want to be able to use that gun. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I get the people that like to collect guns and especially rare ones that they just want to put on display or what have you. I get that. I understand that. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. I want something that I can pick up and use if and when I decide to or need to.
Ellis, I just got a text that says, "Let Ellis know I'm back and listening. Night Strike."
Night Strike? Okay, thank you. I seen you out in the chat. I just hadn't had time to say anything. But hello, Night Strike. I know you're back. I know you're listening. I'm glad you're safe. Did you have any problems with the flight attendants, Night Strike? Or should I say, did they have any problems with you? That's probably the more accurate question. Mr. Knives is in the house. Night Strike's in the house. Biker Bob is in the house. Who else is out there? Fine Ape's doing double duty tonight. Mike Ozzy Osbourne. Well, we've got a pretty good show going on here, Gary.
I was so excited to talk to you, I hadn't even popped out the chat window yet.
Well, there ain't no reason to be excited to talk to me, brother. I'm just me. I'm the same asshole as I always am.
Now
I never change.
We did exchange quite a bit of swag, like everybody had stickers and stuff. Well, everybody except me that doesn't have stickers or patches or anything like that. But everybody traded stuff back and forth, both before the show and at the show. And so I managed to get some of the I got a hit and miss sticker and Strike Force stickers and stuff like that from Night Strike and different stuff from different people. Roll Call actually bought copper coins for several people and gave them out. Roll Call was a lot of fun too.
You have that one there?
What's that?
Is that the one you got?
The coin?
No, the hit or miss sticker.
The hit or miss sticker, yeah, I got that from Night Strike.
Yeah, he gave me this one when I went to see him. So,
I had never had one before, so
and
I was pretty excited to finally be a member of the Strike Force.
Yeah,
I felt honored to join that because that was one I had never gotten before. And then I got home, and then today when I got home, I had a whole package of stuff from Allen Anchor that I won last week. So it's just been a really neat week for me.
It's been like Christmas for you, ain't it, buddy?
Yeah, I got more patches than I have room for. So I did buy a hat to put patches on, plus I bought a new backpack that's got the Velcro on it for patches and stuff, and just gearing up and having a good old time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm glad you went out there. I'm glad you had fun. So, how was your trip? Did you have any issues going up or coming back?
No, I really didn't. Thank goodness I got my car worked on the weekend before I left because I had been having some issues with it, but they got everything fixed, and I was hoping like heck nothing would start acting up again before I had to take off or while I was there. The weather, it was pretty sunny when I actually left Kansas, and it was really fairly nice day when I got to Tulsa. But I don't know if I brought the cold weather in with me or not because we woke up the next day. It was cold and kind of yucky outside. And it was kind of gray, and everybody got cold because a lot of them weren't wearing jackets when I got there, but by golly, they needed them the next day. I knew better. I looked ahead at the weather forecast. I threw a jacket in my car.
Oh, I'd have had a coat. Yeah, I don't take chances with it.
If anything, I probably overpacked. I had a whole bunch of like 3 different tripods in it. Thank goodness, because I ended up using them all, like I said. But that backpack was heavy. And then after I bought the ammo and everything, it was really heavy coming out of the gun show on Saturday. The sad part was I only got to stay for 1 day of Wanamaker because, well, I had to work on Sunday. So after the show was over with Saturday night, I had to basically say goodbye to everybody, get in the car in the parking lot, and drive home. So I missed out on karaoke, which I was kind of sad about because I was really looking forward to that. And the only thing I can say is on Sunday when I went to work, I was so sore from all the walking because you're in J.M. Davis from open to close on Friday, which was 10 in the morning until 5 at night. We're pretty much up and at it the entire time. And then Wanamaker starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and runs to 6. So, we did have chairs every once in a while to sit in and take a rest, but you were on your feet quite a bit, and I was wore out at work come Sunday.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. So, let's get away from the gun show for a minute. Let's talk about you. What got Gizzard Gary into firearms?
Well, technically, I've been into firearms of one sort or another since I was a little kid because Dad owned firearms and he hunted. And so when he raised me to go hunting with him. I was his hunting buddy once I was old enough to tote a shotgun with me. He was a bird hunter, so we went out on the weekends and we hunted quail, prairie chickens, ducks. Even went pheasant hunting out in western Kansas a time or two and stuff like that. So I always owned a shotgun, but Dad never did keep handguns around the house. And consequently, I didn't grow up having an appreciation for handguns. And I kind of always wondered for years and years. Now, most people who know me know that up until 2015, I never owned a handgun, nor did I ever think I'd ever need to have a handgun. And it's just that all the things happening in the news and everything else, eventually, it took me until age 55 to finally get it through my head that, hey, maybe this place isn't safe, and maybe all these people carrying handguns around with them aren't nuts like you think they are. Maybe that's a good idea. Then my daughter decided that she wanted to buy a pistol. This was 3 years ago. And she had a picture of a pistol that a friend of hers had bought. And she said, "Find me one of these, Daddy." And I said, "Well, how much is it?" She said, "I don't know. Google it for me." So I looked and I said, well, it was about $400 or something. And so I said, I don't know if that's a good deal or not. I'm going to have to do some checking. So I spent a whole day looking at gun sites and stuff like that, trying to figure out, okay, is this a good deal or not? And I found out there were gun forums on the internet where people talked about such things. And, each manufacturer had their own forum and stuff like that. And then you had YouTube videos of firearms. And I found out that what she was looking for wasn't necessarily a good deal, but I found some that would be a good deal. So she tasked me into finding those for her, and I found something near me. So she said, well, go look at it and see if you can find one. So I just happened to call down to the local gun shop here, the one we had at the time, and he said, I've got one pink pistol. You might want to come look at it. And it happened to be a Taurus TCP. It was in a lavender color. And I sent her a picture of it. I said, what do you think of this? She said, can I have it? And I said, well, you'll have to come look at it first. I'm not going to buy it for you sight unseen. So she come after work and we went and looked at it. And I said, okay. I said, you're going to do all the talking with this guy. You decide whether or not it's what you want. And if it is, Dad will buy it. And so long story short, he went over. He was really nice. He went over how to hold it, how to shoot it, how to take it apart right in front of her, not talking to me because he realized that he was dealing with my daughter. So he did all the dealing with her, and she said she wanted it. So, of course, I made the funds available for her to buy it. And she said, okay. She said, of course, it was late at night. She said, can we go shoot it tomorrow? And I said, yes, because I found out there was an indoor range about half an hour away. So she met me after work the next day. We went and shot it. And she shot about 2 magazines through it. And she was having a good time. And she said, looked at me and she said, here, you want to try it, Daddy? And so I shot about 12 rounds through it. And I realized it wasn't scary and it was actually fun. And I think a smile kind of come across my face. And I looked at her. I said, I got to get one of these. And she goes, I know, right? And so the next day was Saturday. I went to the big city near me and I found the same model Taurus TCP. It was in black for $199. And I bought it. And that kind of got me started. I had my first gun. Then I started talking to some people out at work, and they said, well, you ought to try a 9mm. Those are really fun to shoot. Well, I went back up there 2 weeks later, and they had a 9mm that was reasonably priced. So I bought another gun, and it kind of went from there. A month later or so, I found something else I wanted, and I found out when you buy a gun, it kind of leads to more guns. Then I started joining forums and stuff like that and doing some stuff online. And I hung out on the Taurus forum for a long time. I'm still pretty active in it. But it wasn't until last June I'd heard about gun channels because I watched a lot of Never Enough Ammo and I watched a lot of Yankee Marshall. And they always talked about gun channels. And I looked at it a couple times, but I thought, well, what the heck is this, Finally, they kept saying, you need to join, you need to join, you need to join. So finally, I was able to join. And I got the nerve up after a couple weeks to actually pop into a lobby chat. And I think that's where I met you, was that very first night I was there. And I realized that people were just talking to me. They weren't talking down on me like I was, some dummy that didn't know about firearms. They asked me questions and they started giving me hints about this or that. And I met people like you who were just regular folks. And I realized that this was a way of life that I really enjoyed, still do.
Well, it's like I said the other night. You were probably the first one that I actually had a conversation with on gun channels, because I remember that night actually. And the thing about gun channels is this: they are so welcoming, and it don't matter who you are. If you come in there with the right attitude and make yourself known, and they'll talk to you, they'll help you out, and understand that everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and not everybody knows everything about every gun. There's a lot I don't know, and they'll also say the same thing. Well, I know this, 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 and this, but there's a lot of crap that out there that even I don't know about, and that's what's so great about it, Gary. There are so many people that if you have a question, somebody on gun channels is going to have an answer for you.
Absolutely.
So somebody out there is going to know the solution to whatever problem you've got. So guys, if you're not on gun channels, get on gun channels. You're doing yourself a disservice by not doing it. So after you got that first handgun, did you decide, okay, well, maybe an AR-15, maybe an AK?
I've thought about that. I've thought about that ever since. I haven't pulled the trigger, so to speak, on an AR or an AK. Now, I did come close one day. I did buy myself a pistol caliber carbine, thinking, well, maybe if I start with this, kind of start with baby steps, then I would do that. The only problem is I know so little about ARs and AKs and stuff like that. I'm not really sure where I'd like to begin. That, and the fact I don't really have any place to shoot one. I hate to buy stuff that I can't take to my local road. I could, but you'd almost want to have an outdoor place to shoot to own something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of hard when you don't have any, at least somebody with enough property to go to their house and fire off rounds once in a while. That was what was great about going out night strikes. We went out there. We spent a few hours shooting. It was a blast. I had a load of fun. And hopefully do it again sometime fairly soon. But yeah, man, you know, we were all beginners at one point in time or another when every type of gun that you have in your safe. You know, there was always that first time you bought a revolver. There was always the first time you bought a semi-automatic handgun. There was always that first shotgun that you bought that you wasn't real sure about. And it's just over time you get used to how they work, how they function, how to take them apart, clean them, put them back together. And it's just a small learning curve that it's it's part of the lifestyle. Honestly, it is. You pick up something new, you figure it out, you take it apart, and that's with me personally. I don't know about you, but with me personally, every time I get a new gun, first thing I want to do when I get home is take it apart.
Oh yeah,
Take it apart, give it a good cleaning if whether it needs it or not. Oil it up the way I normally oil my guns, and get ready to shoot it or what have you. But that's just my routine. I'm sure everybody else has their own little way of doing things, but that's normally what I do.
yeah. Especially my 1911, because I'd always heard from so many people about, well, 1911s are hard to take apart and put back together and stuff like that. So it kind of scared me. I bought this thing. I'd always wanted one. I finally found one that I wanted, and I bought it. And so here I am. I'm looking at videos. It's like, okay, I better study on this to see if I know what I'm doing. And I looked at two or three different videos, and I thought, well, this isn't that hard. And so I got the thing. I started taking it apart and putting it back together. And it's like, well, I don't know what everybody's griping about. This isn't that difficult.
No, it's mostly people that don't know what you're talking about, Gary.
And then I actually
don't want to take the time to learn.
Then after looking, I spent 2 or 3 weeks looking for a short-barreled shotgun. I was wanting to buy one for the house, and then I got to thinking, well, you have two 12 gauges. Had my dad's, and I had my old one from when I was a kid. And it's like, well, you're not going to go bird hunting, chances are, in the near future. And if you do, you've got two of them. Keep one and try cutting down the barrel on one. So I decided, well, it's my shotgun. Dad bought it for me. If I want to cut the barrel off of it, I will. So I started looking at videos like, be careful, measure it this way, measure it 5 or 6 times, make darn sure you're doing it. Here's the best way to do it. I finally got brave and I picked up the saw and I cut that thing and I polished it all up with my Dremel. I got a blue pen to re-blue it once I got everything shiny like I wanted it. And I was so proud of myself to know that I had legally and properly modified my own firearm and created something that I didn't have before. And it's like, wow, even I can do this.
Yep. It filled a notch that you needed filled. That's all that matters.
Yep. So I've done all kinds of things I never thought I'd do, but I finally did them and enjoyed them.
So you said you grew up hunting. Was it just bird hunting that you were doing, or did you do any deer hunting?
Dad never did hunt deer, at least when I was a kid. He was always just a bird hunter. I know there are other things around here. I did see him shoot a squirrel once, I guess I should say, but most of the time it was just birds and stuff. I don't know why. He also fished quite a bit. And so I grew up hunting and fishing, but I never did get to hunt the big game. And still to this day, I've never shot a deer. I wouldn't mind doing it someday. I've never hunted turkey. A lot of people around here hunt turkey and geese, so I never have. So there's a lot of hunting I haven't done.
Oh, I've never hunted for turkey. I've never hunted for duck. Now I have went out and hunted squirrel and raccoon, several other small critters, and did some deer hunting. So I've never hunted hog, but that's a situation I plan on changing this year. I want to get out there and do some hog hunting.
That's something we really don't have around here.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
I hear they're just starting to come into the southeast edge of the state they're migrating their way up through Oklahoma and the tip of Missouri. So they're saying it's just going to be a matter of time before we do have them here.
Yep. Well, we're overrun with them down here, buddy. I mean, we got them all over the place. So I figured I can get myself some fresh bacon free of charge.
But I do have lots of buddies out at work that do hunt deer and stuff like that. Now, nobody's actually ever said to me, well, Decker, why don't you get a deer rifle and come hunting with me? That's another thing I don't own, is that kind of high-powered rifle like you would hunt deer with and stuff like that. So another thing I don't know a whole lot about. So, I know a little bit about some firearms, and there's some I haven't even touched yet. So there's still places I can learn, still things I haven't done, and a lot of things I wouldn't mind trying.
So here's a question for you, Gary. What's your unicorn gun?
My unicorn gun?
Yep. What's the one gun that's out there that you would just love to have, if you could afford to have it?
Well, for the longest time, it was 1911. And the reason for that is, well, Dad was in World War II, and he was in the infantry, and he carried one. And so I wanted to be like Dad. I wanted to see the experience of handling a gun and owning a gun like he owned or shot or whatever when he was in his early 20s and just a young kid overseas, so far from home. And so I kind of felt special when I was able to buy myself one. Now, it wasn't a World War II era 1911, mind you, but probably about as close as I'm going to get unless I just happen to come across something like that. But as far as, like an AR, someday, if I could ever find a place to shoot one, I would love to own one. All simply because everybody says you should. everybody who has one, AR and AK, they say you got to get one of these. You got to get one. And so someday, it's on my list. I'm not going to tell you it's not anything I'm not interested in. I certainly would like to if the opportunity presents itself. And if I have the place I could go have fun with it, then yeah, and it doesn't break the bank, which I've been led to believe it doesn't necessarily have to.
No, you can pick up an AR for less than $500.
So I would like to do that. But as far as anything in particular, unicorn guns, I don't know that there is such a thing. I do own several guns. Not that I own everything in the world, and I'm always looking. I'll see something on somebody's video, and it's like, I want one of those. That's what happened with Yankee. He talked so much about revolvers. I finally had to get my own revolver just to see what all the excitement was about. And things like that. So every once in a while, I will just get, the proverbial bug up my butt, or, however you want to put it. It's like, man, I got to get me one of those. And then I'll just be looking every place I go, every gun shop I go in, I'll go look at them, price them, and decide, okay, I want to find this one at this price, and I'll look and look till I find it, and then it's mine.
Yep, makes sense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the part of the show where I open up the chat to the audience out there for questions for me or Gary. So if you have any questions for either one of us, shoot them out there on the YouTube side or the gun channel side, or you can shoot them to my email, which is theoutlawhatfield@gmail.com. And we will be sure to answer any questions you may have concerning any of the subjects we've discussed tonight, or any that we haven't. Gary, you said you had some friends that did some deer hunting. Do any of those own their own land or anything like that where you could actually go out and shoot?
There is one guy who, well, we always make fun of him because he actually shot a deer out of his bedroom window once.
Well, that's interesting.
He woke up in the morning and he saw a deer outside his bedroom window. He lives out in the country, obviously. And so he real quietly, opened up his window. Of course, he woke up his wife and told her she might want to go in the other room because it might get loud in there. And he had his gun with him, and he took his time. And I would say he was probably not dressed to hunt, shall we say, at the time he made the shot. But that's how he took his deer, one of his deer that year. And he's told me before, he said, well, let me know someday if you want to come out and shoot. He said, you bring whatever you want to out here. He said, he's got an AR and stuff like that. I just never have, said, okay, this is a day, let's do it and stuff like that. But yeah, I could go out to his place and shoot every once in a while, I'm sure, because he does have a place out in the country that has quite a bit of land and stuff like that.
Well, see there, that solves one of your problems.
Yeah.
Well, glad to be of service. In your life, if you could go anywhere and hunt, where would you like to go? Because that seems to be like a big part of who you are. You enjoy the bird hunting. If you could pick a state or a place in the world where you could go do some bird hunting, where would you pick?
Well, I don't know where the great bird hunting is, and I wouldn't limit myself to bird hunting necessarily. That's just what I grew up with. But I'd be up to hunting about anything if I had, the proper equipment and somebody along with me to do the proper training. Now, I grew up bird hunting, and Dad had bird dogs. And so, and he worked as a car mechanic, so he had an awful lot of customers that would come in, and he'd ask them, hey, do you mind if I hunt at your place? And, they'd make those kind of deals like that. Well, sure, I don't allow too many people to hunt on my place, but yeah, you could come out. And so he had a lot of friends, people he dealt with and stuff who would let him come hunt on their land. We didn't own any to speak of, but, he had his connections and stuff like that. And of course, he's gone. All those connections are gone, and I don't own any hunting dogs. Know anybody that has any hunting dogs nearby to just hop in a truck with and let's go. And I miss that. And so I would, like to have somebody I could buddy up with and say, hey, let's go to this place someday and go hunting.
You know what I would bet? I would almost bet money, Gary, that there is somebody. There's an echo coming out of your mic.
Out of mine?
Yep. I'm hearing myself. It's a bit weird there for a minute. I would almost bet that there is somebody on gun channels within driving distance of you that probably knows somewhere to hunt and would be willing to go out with you. I'd almost bet money on that.
Yeah, I know there are a couple gun channels people that are over in Missouri. I can't really come up with the names right off the top of my head, but Missouri's not too far from a couple-hour drive, depending on where you're at in Missouri. So that'd be a good place. Arkansas, I've got a son down in Arkansas. That wouldn't be too bad. That's a half a day's drive. I could be in Arkansas. And see, Tardot says get to Texas, we can go hunting.
There you go.
It's not that far down to where Tardot is. I mean, I've driven through Texas before. It's just a matter of making the connections and finding the time to go. And the great thing about my job is I work 4 10s, so I always have 3-day weekends, which makes it pretty easy to go do things like that if I really wanted to.
Music lover, this is indeed live. This is the Monday night shootout with the Outlaw, and my guest tonight is Gizzard Gary. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've ever seen you before, so we love new faces around here. So sit back and enjoy the ride.
You bet.
Yep. If you like guns, you're in the right place.
I know Travis has invited me to come up to Nebraska someday. I've never been in the state of Nebraska, which is funny because I'm only about 2 hours from the state line. I've been to Oklahoma. I've went that direction lots of times because I always had sisters who lived down in Texas. And Missouri, we always go into Kansas City for this and that, and old Silver Dollar City over in Branson. So I've been in Missouri quite a bit in my life, but never had the occasion to go through the state of Nebraska. So that would be kind of fun. See, Alaskan 556 is asking how I'm liking that Glock I bought. I don't know if Outlaw wants to have that mentioned on his show, but since I'm his guest, I'll tell you that, well, I really do like the Glock, and I've been carrying it ever since I shot it the first time. So, there.
Yeah. It's okay that you like a mediocre gun.
I moved up from my Taurus. I mean,
I'm not sure going from a Taurus to a Glock is an improvement. That might actually be a downgrade.
That first gun I bought, that Taurus TCP, and that's what I carried for the longest time because it was small and went in the pocket. And I'm pocket carrying the Glock now, but I'm not ever going to get rid of that Taurus. I told my daughter, I said, I'm not ever going to get rid of the first gun I bought. It's always going to be mine. And it's always, I look at it, I still have a soft spot in my heart for that because that was my first pistol.
I've apparently hurt OB's feelings, so OB, I'm sorry, and just to make it up to you, I'll do this for you, buddy. I'm going to make it up to you right here. There you go, OB. I apologize wholeheartedly.
You may have to interview him one of these days. Have him on your
Well, he accused me of being in New York, and I just can't have that. I just can't have that kind of slur against me. I mean, God, Lord.
Tardot is asking, what did you see in Wanamaker that almost made you splurge and get it? Well, I think there was, of course, this will probably get me in trouble too, but there was a Glock 19 there that I almost thought about getting, but I didn't. Thing is, Glock 19s are a dime a dozen. You can walk into any gun shop, they've got one. So, what exactly what you call a rare firearm? But the thing is, anything you want, they've got one of in Wanamaker. Well, probably more than one, lots of them. I mean, it is literally that building is 10 acres, nothing but guns, 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 and more guns. You would love it.
I'll tell you what, I'm hoping that come November, my butt's going to be there, and I'm going to love it. And what'll be great is I fully intend on hitting that Powerball between then and now.
We may have to have somebody send you a pizza while you're there.
Well, that's fine. Hey, somebody sends me a pizza, I'm eating it. I ain't Night Strike. Hey, Night Strike, you have a good night. You sleep well, buddy.
Yeah, I ended up having to eat that piece of pizza that was his. It actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was a funny story they were telling me about. Well, Alan B. Pro ordered this pizza, and it's like, we all ate it because we didn't realize it was for Night Strike. And then we figured it out, and there was one piece left, so we brought it up here, and now he won't come to the door. And I said, well, give it here.
Free food. You never turn down free food, Gary.
But I looked at the receipt, and it did say for Night Strike, and they had night misspelled Knight. But I got up the next morning. It was Saturday morning, and I knew I had to check out of the hotel because I was leaving that night. So I packed up all my stuff. I got ready to go out the door, and I saw that pizza box sitting there. And I knew that Night Strike, I hadn't heard him get up and leave his room yet. So I took that empty box and I put it right in front of his door, thinking, well, at least he'll be able to see what he missed out on. So
I'm not sure that was rude, dude. That was rude. Damn it. See, you could have had pizza. Now you just get the empty box. Congratulations, Night Strike. Damn, that was harsh, man.
There was that night, and then there was a night before where I think Clover was live, and he was out by the pool doing his live show, and there were a bunch of us in the lobby, and I saw somebody went on the chat, and I saw they were talking about, they were making fun of Night Strike because he had went to bed early, and somebody said something about the fact of, well, somebody ought to call the switchboard and wake him up. And somebody asked what room he was in. Well, I had told a couple people, I believe Tardot was one of them, what room Night Strike was in. Well, the next thing I know in that chat, everybody was saying, call the switchboard and ask for room 202. I thought, oh no. So we were sitting there in the lobby. All of a sudden, we heard the phone ringing at the clerk's desk. I heard her say 202. I thought, oh boy.
Oh, wait. See, I did one better than that. I actually have Night Strike's cell phone number. Yeah. So as soon as I heard them say on the chat that to call Night Strike's room, I said, I don't have to call his room. I got his fucking cell phone number. I'll just call his cell phone. And that's exactly what I did. He was not a happy camper with me. Well, I'm trying to get some fucking sleep.
I think it was that night. I believe it was the night that the pizza delivery was. I was talking to him Saturday morning when we were eating breakfast. I said, did you get any sleep last night? He said, very funny. And I said, yeah. I said, I figured they kind of woke you up. in the middle of the night. He said, well, that was nothing. He said, after that, he said, I went back to lay down and go back to sleep. And 15 minutes later, my cousin calls me and wants me to go on his chat.
I was just being an ass.
I said, what are friends and family for, But
I knew he was in bed. I knew he was trying to get some sleep or trying to avoid everybody, one or the other. And I figured, okay, I'm just going to be an ass, and that's exactly what I did. So, and anybody that spent any time talking to me knows that I have that tendency. So, it should not have been any kind of surprise.
no, but it was just one of those weekends. The one night, I think it was Friday night, that we were all down there going live. We had 6 people that were all going live at once, photographing each other, going live, and somebody said, well, it looked like a bunch of high school kids all cutting up in the lobby together, except they weren't high school kids, but we were just having that much fun together. It was just something you'd have to imagine, but just grown people acting like kids.
Now, did anybody else just get a notification that Travis just posted a video or something?
Let me look at my notifications. Mr. Matt uploaded more Tulsa shenanigans. I don't see anything.
Oh, no, it was on Facebook. Okay. I was like,
oh, I don't have Facebook open. Let's see what's on there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Firearm.
Yeah, Travis did post something.
Yeah, we bought a Gatling gun.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that video.
Well, I haven't seen that one yet. I want to go take a look at that later on, eventually. And Tardot was saying that I had better not go to sleep because I'd missed my pizza. If you've been paying attention, Tardot, I'm up till 5 o'clock in the damn morning just about every morning. I mean, I live on 4 and 5 hours sleep. So I probably get less sleep than about anybody on gun channels.
See, that was the thing. I kept telling everybody I was on vacation, and I was, but most of the stuff we were doing, we kind of had to get up and around to go do. Like, you had to be at J.M. Davis by 10 o'clock. Well, it's about a half hour, 45-minute drive, so we had to get up and eat breakfast. Luckily, there's good breakfast right there in the hotel we were staying. But you couldn't sleep till 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and expect to get to do anything. Oh, especially on Saturday morning when we went to the gun show. Well, we had to be there at 8 o'clock, and it wasn't exactly a trip across the street. So we had to get up. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning so I could be there in time for that. So you're doing quite a bit of running around and stuff. So we stayed up late at night, but we couldn't stay up too late because we kind of had to get some rest because we knew we had stuff to do the next day. So, is that kind of thing. But I was pretty wore out after that week. It's like, I got to be back at work on Sunday, but the good thing is I don't have to be at work till 10 o'clock. So at least I could sleep till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well, Gary, I think we're going to close this one down, buddy. I've had a good time with you.
Well, I have too. Sorry I was late showing up, but hopefully I made up for it.
Oh, you made up for it in spades, brother. It was a good show. And I'd like to thank my audience out there for showing up, hanging around, talking to us. I've been reading the chat on and off all night on both sides, and some of the conversations they were having over there on the YouTube side got quite interesting.
They always do.
Yes, they certainly do. Now, guys, we are going to shut the interview down, but if you will give me 10 minutes, I am going to start a late night chat. So we're going to have that up and going for the rest of the night, at least for the next couple of hours. Anybody that wants to join in, let me know, and I will damn sure send you a link. Dead Horse, I will get you a link. Gunpowder, you will get a link. Tardot, you will get a link. Bob, you will get a link. And if Alan B. Pro shows up, I'll think about giving him a link. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will. Oh, and by the way, guys, there's something coming up on my channel here in the future, and it's going to be something huge. It's going to be something big. It's going to be something that you're really going to be wanting to watch. So,
yeah, I believe somebody used the word tease, didn't they?
So somebody did use the word tease. It is going to be a hell of a show coming up one of these nights. It's going to be a huge surprise, and this one, very few people know about what's going on. But it's not going to be on a Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be on a different day of the week. We haven't got a date set yet, but we're working on it. I will let you know when it comes up. Just be ready for it. I guarantee you it will not let you down. So, with that being said, Gary, you have anything to plug?
Well, if I think most of the people in here are familiar with my channel, but if you're not, please check out my YouTube channel, Gizzard Gary, and check out my website, gizzardgary.com. It's got the link to all of my social media sites. And thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
Yep. And Tardot was just asking if I was going to interview him. I'm already doing an interview with the interesting person in your family, Tardot. You know, Gunpowder Beauty has agreed to do an interview with me already, so I've got the good half doing an interview. So yeah, you're on the back burner somewhere. I'll get to you eventually. Y'all have a good night. I will talk to y'all in about 10-15 minutes.
Night, everybody.
Oh, Lord. You know, before I go, I got to just say it. I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. Love you guys. Take care.